So, folks, obviously we are in the aftermath of the SCOTUS decision that bars, or rather allows states to bar trans athletes from participating in the, division that aligns with their gender identity. Um, and that has had sweeping ramifications, of course. We talked about them the other day. Some new updates, though. We've got a rogue one in the Trump family. Here's Melania Trump coming forward today saying she fully supports the LGBTQIA plus community amid the Supreme Court banning trans athletes from women's sports. Now, this is, of course, interesting because no one is going to be happy with this. Obviously, the gays, you're Melania Trump. People who are gay fucking hate you. And on the other hand, conservatives, the only people to go see the Melania documentary, they're gonna feel betrayed by this. And also, most of the gays, even if they were inclined to be charitable to you, you'll lose a lot of them with your statement. Let's read it in full here. As many of you may know, I fully support the LGBTQIA plus community. But we must also ensure that our female athletes are protected and respected. The Supreme Court has now legally confirmed this opinion. Under Title IX and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, may schools maintain women's and girls' sports for biological females? The answer is yes. While the nation can support the rights of the LGBTQIA plus community, it should also protect opportunities for female athletes. Respect everyone and keep girls' sports fair. Both ideals are essential. Now, obviously trying to say, hey, you can support LGBTQ people.
I got my DSA card in the mail the other day.
Oh, hell yeah,
My
Corey
membership
Springer.
lapsed a couple of years ago. Thanks for convincing me to get involved again.
You are very welcome. I'm glad so many of you are hopping back on the horse or hopping on the horse for the first time. Don't forget to get into the talk to GamerG, get into the DSA Signal chat. You guys can also organize in the Shimp Caucus within DSA. Would love to have you. Back to this. You're not going to make the gays happy, and saying, well, these two ideas can coexist, you're not going to make anyone really happy except for the people who hate trans people, but you're also saying to respect trans people. This literally makes nobody happy. This is going to piss everybody off and is clearly being done, as Amber Brains points out, because one of her assistants is gay, or her hairstylist is gay, or something like that. It's very clearly she knows somebody who's gay or trans and is just but don't be mean to that one. I like that one. And it's very it's very interesting and funny. But I do have to say, some of the reactions from conservatives to the SCOTUS decision have been unintentionally hilarious. Here is who's this again? This is a host on Newsmax. And here you have it, straight from Washington D.C. Let's hear from him.
Be seated in this next Congress.
Congressman Stubbe, I'd like to talk a little bit about a Supreme Court ruling with transgender. I mean, it's interesting. The backdrop today is that President Trump and the Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library. We know how tough Teddy Roosevelt was. Biological man, real man's man. And for some reason now we have to talk about men who want to play in women's sports. And
biological man, a real man's man. And I gotta be honest with you guys, every fucking time a conservative starts talking like this, yeah, a real biological man, a real manly man. They're trying to make biological man happen. They're really they're trying to make fetch happen, and it's just not happening. But more than that, what it actually reminds me of is this scene from a little known comedy called Airplane.
Joey, have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
That's what it reminds me of. Like, Joey, have you ever seen a biological man? Like a real man's man, Joey. You know, like, it just makes me think of that. Like, it's freakish, creepy behavior. It's supposed to be off-putting an airplane when that guy is talking to a child about looking at men and seeing men. And conservatives are now trying desperately to be like, the biological men. You're a real man, a biological man. And it's just like, I get really big that creep from airplane vibes off of every conservative who does it. It's just kind of like, why y'all being weird, creepy assholes? Please stop. And of course, then we have one of the biggest disappointments here. Here's Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, who leaked to the press that she was cool for dealing drugs and going on nudist runs and, going to kinky parties. And then she became this kind of person.
One of the big issues was the Supreme Court holding up these bans on trans athletes participating in girls' sports. There's more than 24 states in America that have these either restrictions or bans. You're on the Congressional Equality Caucus. I wonder what your reaction is to this.
Well, I believe that these decisions really, you don't get good policy from the feds. These are nuanced issues. And I also think that the rush to moralize is not necessarily productive. I got a lot of people angry at me when I voted against the bill that would have allowed for a general inspection of student athletes. And at those town halls, what I saw was, the people who were most upset, a lot of them had spent the last 12 years driving their girls to sports practice, and they view their best shot of their student getting a college education as an athletic scholarship. And so when we rush to moralize and be like, this is all about love versus hate, I think we miss some of the nuance that people are seeing in this. And I think we can put up walls where there don't necessarily need to be them. But I think that, local communities are the best position to make these decisions.
Did it make you rethink your position on it after hearing that?
Let's just be clear what's happening here, right? She's like, well, I made people angry with me because I voted against genital inspections for children. And it's like, okay, great that you voted against that. However, there is a problem here when it comes to verifying, the sex of individuals, which is that it kind of necessitates someone to do inspecting of genitals or chromosomes or gametes or what have you, whatever, biological vector you want to go by, which does mean that there's out of necessity, there is some kind of system in place to check and verify sex. So it doesn't really matter if you vote against one particular invasive method of sex verification when your position is specifically in favor of sex verification as a policy, right? And the other aspect here that is awful is that she's like, well, I went to some town halls and people were mad because, they had spent the last 12 years driving their daughters to practice, and now, a spot might be taken away from them. A scholarship might be taken away from them because a trans girl whose parents also drove them to practice for 12 years might win the scholarship instead. And Marie Gluesenkamp Perez's position is effectively, fuck those kids. They're not the right kind of kids.
The NCAA has billions of dollars. They could easily have a few scholarships for trans athletes without affecting the opportunity of cis females at all.
That's the thing, right? Number one, we should be passing the kind of legislation that allows people to go to college without entering into financial destitution. And number two, the NCAA, as you point out, has the capability of making separate scholarship funds. But in this particular circumstance, barring either of those things, Marie Gluesenkamp Perez is just saying there, fuck those kids, fuck trans kids. Who cares about their hard work? Who cares about their competitive spirit? And not only should trans kids not be able to get those scholarships, but also, like, a scholarship for girls should only go to cis girls, but not trans girls. Or a scholarship that's for boys should only go to cis boys, but not trans boys. Because I can guarantee you this, trans girls are not winning scholarships designed for men. Like, this isn't something where, oh, well, you know, trans girls have cracked the code and now they're going to get, like, the boy scholarships and the girl scholarships. Like, you're just saying, no, you aren't actually a boy or a girl. You can't have either. It's crazy. It's some genuine, like, catch-22 bullshit. And I know that this might come as a shock to people in the government, but you don't actually have to set up catch-22s. You don't actually have to do that. Why not make a trans division where you play each other? Because each state has, like, one trans kid. Like, people truly do not understand that when we're talking about trans kids, the number of kids that are under that umbrella who are in competitive sport are minuscule, right? On top of the fact that, one, none of the data we have supports, like, any kind of scientific basis for forming, like, a separate but equal league. That league would consist of approximately, like, maybe 2 baseball teams worth of players. And it's just kind of like, that's, you're effectively saying they can't participate in sports. Shouldn't that be kind of a hint, though? A hint to what? Like, the issue here is that there has been created a fear-mongering maelstrom in which these children have to decide whether or not they want to compete in high school sports. And the fury of the federal government and the fury of millions of people has been directed towards them. And it's not an organic rage. You can literally track, like, the prevalence of these bills starting in 2020. And it's entirely manufactured. It's entirely manufactured by conservative media, fear-mongering about it, and it's been laundered through liberal media, like the New York Times, to make it seem reasonable to centrist Democrats. And the only people pushing this narrative, they're not scientists. And they're not knowledgeable on these topics. They're just people who are like, trans girls make me feel icky, so they shouldn't be allowed in the sport. And it's really the level of racism that had people saying, well, it's the level of bigotry, rather, that had people saying, well, black people need a separate league because, watching white and black players play sports together makes me uncomfortable. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't think we should cater our policies to bigots. Bull crap, I watched a man beat the crap out of a woman, Olympic boxing. Are you talking about the Imane Khalif? Because she's intersex. That's not remotely the same thing that we're talking about. You're literally complaining that there are like, sex isn't a clear-cut issue. But also, like, the idea that boxers don't beat the shit out of each other, like, come the fuck on. Y'all get real. Go get real and go watch fucking Rocky or something, Oh no, people in a combat sport got the shit kicked out of them? Oh no. It's crazy. You want to tell us how to behave? Yeah, I do. You should stop being a bigot. That's the extent of what I want to tell you. Like, stop it. You can actually choose to stop being a bigot, and you should make that choice. Getting angry? No. Like, oh, you're so mad, aren't you? Literally, no. I live for this shit. By the way, if you guys, I see so many of you anti-trans clowns in chat right now. I literally do a call-in show tomorrow at 2 p.m. It starts at 2 p.m. Central Time. I do a call-in show. It's called the Transatlantic Call-in Show, where people like you guys are perfect. You guys are perfect. Please call in.
Boxing, the sport where the goal is to give your opponent a concussion.
I cannot stress enough how much I would love for each and every one of you bigoted pieces of shit to call in and debate on the actual merits of trans issues, which is the purpose of the show, by the way. It's so that you can call in and talk to people about trans issues, and you debate us. Bring your facts, bring your figures. We would love to have this conversation. And, oddly enough, I've been doing this show now for several months, and not a single one of you clowns that has called in has been able to present a good argument. So I am encouraging you right now. It's over on a channel called The Line. Call in to the Transatlantic Call-In Show. You guys would be perfect. Y'all are too cowardly to actually show up and put your voice on the line and actually talk about it. I know it. I know it in my bones. Prove me wrong. Call in. Call it. All right? It's degenerate. It shouldn't be allowed. Call in, CIA torture. It's open. Anyone can call in. You can call in, and then we can have a debate about trans issues tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. Central Time. All right. It only goes until 5 o'clock tomorrow Central Time. I could debate you. Call in. Roland Barham. Literally, the purpose of the show is for people like you to call in. I would love it. The last time I did the show, we didn't get very many good callers, and I would love for you spicy-ass dipshits to call in. It'd be great. And I was sad to find out that the guy who kept calling in wanting to preach the Bible, and then I got into a debate about whether or not he was Satan. I'm sad that guy got banned. Are you going to be fair? Yeah. Every time Jack is on Takis, I'm so excited. It's very fun sometimes. It is very fun. Anyway, I forgot that we were in the middle of a segment here. Just consider this a very long plug for my presence over on The Line. Go check it out. Back to this real quick.
Those perspectives at the town hall?
I don't think my position is inconsistent with that.
Oh, I'm a Christian. Nothing wrong with that. Call in and debate us on trans issues.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on I'm a big supporter of the trades. I ran an auto repair and machine shop, and there's the question of why does everybody need to get into college? The sort of paper ceiling of a degree. But also the question of why is college tuition increased 130% since I was in high school? So a lot of those questions that don't need to be necessarily made into a us versus them fight.
And yet, here you are throwing trans people under the bus for no fucking reason other than you think it makes you look like one of the good ones in the Democratic Party.
Don't shut up and take my moonies.
William Mates, thank you for the $10 super chat. I very much appreciate it. Y'all, we're making progress. We're almost halfway to our next goal. Very excited to see it. Yeah, Marie Gluesenkamp Perez is one of those figures in the Democratic Party who's trying desperately to plant her flag as a centrist Democrat who's young, who's hip, who's up and coming, and, kind of a next generation of Chuck Schumers. And the problem is, the political landscape and the political tolerance for Chuck Schumer types in the Democratic Party is basically non-existent from here on out. And all that being said, folks, there's a change in the wind. And these types of Democrats that are willing to throw people under the bus, their time is coming to an end. What is very clear is that there is a rising number of progressives, a rising number of people coming out of DSA, rising number of folks being endorsed by Democratic and progressive orgs that are going to fight for the working class. And this tide of politicians is going to ride the victory and the dashed political careers of people like Marie Gluesenkamp Perez are going to litter their wake. And so I, for one, look forward to seeing the absolute steamroll in the coming years of these establishment Democrats who have utterly and completely betrayed working people in this country. And if you want to be part of that, folks, join your local Dems, join your local DSA, and kick those corporate assholes out of the Democratic Party. All right? You can do that when you get started on the local level. You can actually have a lot of influence deciding who the next up-and-coming political figures are in your area. So join your local Dems, join your local DSA. If you need help doing that, you can join our Discord, reach out to GamerG for help joining DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help joining your local Dems. Both have been organizers for years, and they can help you organize within the party. All right? All that being said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment if you haven't yet, and do consider checking out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy lingerie that's non-tucking. Check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com, link down in the doobly-doo. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.